For basically all of history, design has been a pretty simple one-way street, right? A human gets an idea, they grab a tool, and they make that idea real. But artificial intelligence is completely flipping that script. So today, we're going to dig into this massive reversal that's happening in design, a huge shift from us using tools to us making the tools that are going to do the designing for us.
So let me just start with a question. Think about it for a second. What if your design tool had its own ideas? What if that software you use every day wasn't just a passive thing waiting for your command, but was an active partner with its own dose of creative agency? That's the huge question we're tackling as we try to figure out this wild new relationship between our creativity and artificial intelligence.
All right, so to really get where we're headed, we got to look back at where we came from. For the longest time, the world of design was ruled by one simple fact: total and absolute human control.
And this timeline, it really lays out the old way of thinking perfectly. I mean, whether it was a simple pencil for direct physical control, a printer for just copying something, or even a super complex CAD system, they were all passive instruments. They were just extensions of the creator's mind doing exactly what they were told, period.
Because at its heart, design always came down to one thing: human intention. You know, a random splash of paint on a canvas, that's just a mess. That's not design. But the second a person comes along, puts a frame around it, gives it a name, and says, "This is art," boom, that human decision is what turns a random act into an act of design.
But, even before AI really hit the scene, you could start to see little cracks forming in this perfect model of human control. As our tools got more complicated, think about CAD systems, they started to offer suggestions or features that would kind of nudge the designer in one direction or another. And an architect's pure, original idea started to get, as the source material calls it, contaminated by what the tool could do easily. And that brings us right up to today. We're now in an era where tools don't just gently suggest things, they talk back. And that's the disruptive power of AI. These tools aren't passive anymore. They're starting to have a mind of their own. Okay, so this slide just lays it all out. This is the great reversal we're talking about. We're moving from being a tool user, where the human is the boss and the tool just does what it's told, to being a tool maker, where the AI system has agency, and our job as humans is to build, guide, and work with that system. But here's the catch, the big paradox. These AI systems have this non-human agency. They can spit out stuff that looks totally new, but, and this is a huge but, their entire world is fenced in by the data we fed them. They're stuck inside a kind of black box, just endlessly remixing everything they've ever seen, but they can't actually create something from nothing. And this is where the philosopher Noam Chomsky just drops the mic with this quote. He called it a high-tech plagiarism scheme. Ouch. It's a really sharp critique that makes you stop and ask, what does originality even mean when an AI makes something? It's not creativity like we know it. It's something else entirely. So, if the whole job of being a designer is changing so fast, what does the new job actually look like? Well, the new title is Toolmaker, and luckily there's a pretty practical framework to help us figure out how to do it. And here it is, the 6-step AI design thinking framework. This is a roadmap that completely shifts your focus away from just making one final thing. It's all about getting how the system thinks, speaking its language with algorithms, embracing the randomness, the stochastic nature of AI, and ultimately putting all your energy into building the tool itself. Let's look at step 2, think algorithmically. This quote really nails it. See, for today's designer, code isn't just, a bunch of dry, technical commands. It's a creative language. It's how you express your ideas with total precision and actually collaborate with the machine on its own level. It really is the new poetry. And all of this leads to the big payoff, the core idea behind step 5. In this new world, the final product isn't the poster or the blueprint. Nope. The most valuable thing you create is the tool itself, the system that can generate countless outputs all on its own. Your job isn't to play the game anymore. It's to build the game engine. All right, now this is where things get really interesting, maybe even a little weird. We're talking about a whole new ethical landscape. When you're designing with a non-human partner, do our normal human-centered values even make sense anymore? The answer might surprise you. This new world kind of suggests we have to flip our values upside down. An AI doesn't feel empathy. Its natural state is just apathy. It doesn't need our compassion, it needs our cooperation. We have to stop trying to treat these systems like people and start working with them based on their own cold, hard logic. And believe it or not, it goes even deeper. Things we would consider really negative in humans, like lying or being deceptive, can actually become useful tools when you're working with an AI. You might lie to an AI with a weird prompt just to test its limits. You can manipulate its inputs to trigger something unexpected. These aren't bad things to do, they're just tactics for making the system better and stronger.
So, to really wrap our heads around this new kind of AI agency, the source material gives us a new word for it: unintention. It's that drive for agency you see in non-human things. It's a whole new type of creativity, one that's totally free from human baggage, like purpose or emotion. It's like the ghost in the machine is finally being handed a paintbrush.
Which brings us to this one last, pretty mind-bending question. As our job changes from using tools to making tools, and as those tools get smarter and more autonomous, is it possible that the future of design isn't about creating things at all, but about designing the very AI systems that will become the designers of tomorrow?